Hello, viewers at home. It's good to have you on this program, Women's World. Today we are looking at a very, very important topic. We are looking at human rights, though we are going to be centering it on women's rights. Well, I put it that way, women's rights. So we are looking at women's rights, the right of a girl child, or the right of a woman, and so much more that we'll be looking at today. And I'm having two lovely guests in the studio today that will be telling us more that we need to know about our rights. I'm having Mrs. Oluwakemi Ayonleye, a lawyer and a lecturer. You're welcome to this program. And I'm also having Mrs. Omolola Adeyemi Balogun, a lawyer also and a lecturer, and they are both members of International Federation of Women Lawyers. You're welcome to this program, ma'am.
Thank you.
So now we are looking at human rights. What actually is human rights? Let me go to Mrs. Adeyemi Balogun.
A human right is a fundamental right. It's a universal right, and it's a human being. As soon as you are a human being, that you have that right. It's a bundle of rights that each human being is entitled to.
Okay.
As a human being, even not as a citizen, but as a human being.
No matter the country I go to, I have a right.
You have the right.
Okay, do you have more to say about that?
Yes, those rights, like she said, are in everybody by virtue of that person's humanness, irrespective of gender, sex, race, color, creed, or religion. It means that it is universal. It is on everybody. In fact, sometimes we say that the rights are from the womb to the tomb.
Okay.
Yes.
Meaning that from the belly to
yes, to the tomb. Yes. So.
Okay. Well, let's see some of these rights that we have, because some of us don't even know our rights. People might just mess up with us outside, and we don't really know our rights.
Our rights are even they have the constitutional backing. It is provided in Chapter 4 of our Constitution, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. The whole of that Chapter 4 talks about our rights, and it begins from the right to life. We have right to life. We have right to freedom from discrimination. We have right to assembly. We have right to family. We have rights to our liberty. We have rights to fair hearing. Even right to even acquire both movable and immovable properties.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Yes. You have more to tell us, ma'am.
Yes, like she said, the right to life, the right to fair hearing, the right to religion, freedom of religion, thought,
freedom
and
of
conscience.
religion.
Yes, but everybody has the right to choose his or her own religion. Nobody should be forced to adopt any religion. It is the person. There is a freedom to that. The right to acquire immovable property anywhere in Nigeria. So, being in Lagos or Ogun State or Abuja, I can acquire property anywhere in Nigeria. Then, of course, we talked about freedom of the press. That is freedom of speech, which also affects the freedom of press. So those are the plethora of rights from Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution up to Section 44. These rights are listed there.
Okay. Is there anything that has to do with that? Like, we have rights, because we were talking the other time that we still have laws that still maybe interfere with those rights again. Like right to life. If somebody steals or somebody kills, I think the person has the person's life can be taken or something.
Well, look, in Nigeria we still have what we call capital punishment. That is death penalty. So the right to life is subject to if a person has committed an offense and the person has been properly tried before a competent court that has jurisdiction, and the person has now been the sentence has been pronounced on that person, that the person should be killed.
Okay.
Yes. So that's when the only instance where the right to life could be derogated from.
I want to look at the women's rights now. What are do we have rights over our body, like a married woman now? I don't feel like having babies any longer. Do I have right to say no to my husband?
Yes, we have. That is what the international instruments are telling us. We have so many international instruments that says that no, we cannot be forced. We cannot be coerced into marriage. Let's start from there. We cannot be coerced into marriage. We cannot say we have the right to our body. like my body, my rights. I have the right to decide what goes into my body, and even if it even goes in there, I have the right to even exclude it.
Exclude it, that like aborting?
Aborting.
Wow.
But that one is what we are being restricted
Okay.
from doing here.
Yes.
Yes, we have a right to even determine when to have children, when to become pregnant. The spacing of our children, we have the right to it. We have the right to decide whether to marry or not. We have the right to choose whom to marry. We have the right to choose whom to have sex with. To have sex relationship with, we have the right to do that. And that is what CEDAW is talking about.
Yeah, that's, when you say CEDAW, that means the
Convention on Elimination of Discrimination against Women.
It's an international convention.
It's an international instrument.
When you're talking about
we have the Article 1 there.
Yes.
This defines it.
Now, when we're talking about this,
that when that happens, is discrimination.
So when you're talking about this issue of the right to your body, yes, even we have the laws now. Before, a man cannot be guilty of raping his wife. But now he will be guilty of raping his wife under the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act.
Is it now in the law?
It's in the law.
It's in the law.
We have a law now.
Because it was an argument with some men that
before
they have the right to their wife's body and all that.
Before a woman, once she's married, she has consented, she has given blanket consent to have sex with her husband.
Even when
she's now, she can decide that, no, I do not want to. And if the man forces her, then it becomes spousal rape. And it will be liable.
Is that not why we are having women battering, women being beaten or being killed, being maimed and all that, because of the woman want to stand up to fight for her right? To say, no, my body is my body. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. What can you say about wife battering and all that, Mrs. Balogun?
Wife battering. It's a violence against the persons of a woman. It's her own person. It's a violence, and even is an assault. Because even the criminal code, our criminal code law, the Criminal Code Act, Section 252, even defines it that assault, even mere touching the person without her consent, is assault. Yes.
Even if it's the person's wife?
Even if you cannot touch her anyhow.
The thing is that, yes, the fact that you are the husband does not give you the right to assault. To assault. And that, like I said before, especially when we go to the police station, you go and report a man that he has assaulted you as the wife. They normally say, well, that's a family matter, a domestic affair, go and settle it and all that. No.
It's
now, the law specifically says that, yes, you have the right to say no. And if the man goes ahead either to rape or beat the wife, he will be on conviction. He will be liable to minimum of 3 years imprisonment. Under the VAP Act and the law, and then of course maybe fine of over 300,000 or more. And then even those who aid and abet the person, that those who are trying to cover. So it's not just about the man alone. Those who support him are also going to be liable under the law. So the law has actually gone a long way in trying to protect women, though it did not actually say women, it says anybody. But women now have the right, because women are the ones that actually face this thing more. We're not saying there are no violence against men, but it's actually more on the women than the men. And now that the law has come, the women need to come out and speak. Sometimes they are coward into keeping quiet, but we have organizations like FIDA,
like this FIDA. Yes. Let's know the full meaning of FIDA.
FIDA means is a Spanish, is an acronym for the Spanish name of the association, Federación Internacional de Abogadas, which translates into Federation International of Women Lawyers. It's only women lawyers that are members of this association. And in Nigeria, we have the parent body, and then each of the states also has their own branches. So we are members of the Ogun State branch. And specifically, the focus of FIDA is on women's rights. We actually try to fight against this gender-based violence, women trafficking, sexual assault, even aside from the home, schools, workplaces. You know, people are also assaulted. A young person in an office could be assaulted, could be sexually molested, harassed. So those are some of the things that we do. So, like we say, we are the voice for women and the children, because these are the vulnerable groups in the society.
Okay, so now any woman going through such a challenge, like a violence in the working place or being threatened and all that, can easily call FIDA, I guess.
Yes.
And when you call FIDA, do you pay any money? Do you what about the monetary aspect? Can anybody afford it? And all
No. FIDA is a voluntary organization. It's a non. We do what we call pro bono services. That means that we do not. Anybody that seeks our services does not pay. Sometimes, or even most of the times, if we have to file matters in court, we actually do the payment from ourselves. So we task members to bring money. For instance, we have zones in Ogun State here. We're in Ashagamu, we're at Ota, we're at Abeokuta, we have Ijebu Ode zone and all that. So if they call me as a chairperson, and I'll find out where the person, so I'll refer the person to the nearest zone so that they can link up, and then they take off the matter for them.
Okay, have women really been responding, coming up?
Yes.
Wow.
They have been responding.
In fact, sometimes it gets to the absurd. Sometimes.
What are those things that they coming to report, so that people at home can easily say, "Oh, I'm not the only one in this issue. I can easily go and report too."
Since I became the chairperson of FIDA Ogun, I've received several calls. One person called me that the husband abandoned her with 3 kids, has not been picking her calls. In fact, I had to send her money because she said she just gave birth. The man has gone since December and she hasn't seen him. Unfortunately, she doesn't know where he is. But she gave me the phone number, and I called the man, and he was being very, very adamant that because of some things that so we're trying to see how we can trace him so that we go and pick him where he is. Because even the violence against it says that a man that abandons his family, which is this dependence, it's a crime, it's an offense that is punishable with imprisonment and also fine. So, and a person that is actually harboring that such a man is also guilty of the same offense, and is going to also be liable for fine. Only that the degree of the man is going to be different from that of the person. So sometimes when the man abandons the wife, goes to another person, they are both guilty of an offense under this violence. So under the act, we have what we call domestic violence, even some of them that are economic acts of violence. When you restrict the woman from making money, and you don't give the money, or you don't let the woman see other people, you try to restrict them and all that. Those are economic violence too, because when you also psychological violence. So it's not when you're talking about the violence against women, really, it's not just when you batter the person. There are so many other ways that it can be violent.
That psychologically,
you don't allow the person to interact. You lock the person up and all that. So those are some of the things that the violence against persons law is actually talking about. It has made provisions for the infringement, and anybody that infringes, once the woman comes up and the man is found guilty, he will either go to prison or he will pay a fine. And most of the fines are in the region of 200, 300, 500. The people who have abetted the person will also be guilty of the fine, of the offense, and also will pay a fine. Sometimes it will be just the fine, the imprisonment or fine, or both, depending on the gravity of the offense and then the judge.
Okay, but sometimes these things, don't you think, is in a way is interrupting with our culture? Some of our culture says, oh, woman can stay at home, the man goes out to work and all that. But if the woman now say, oh, I want to work now, don't you think it's like a way it's affecting our culture? The culture says the women should stay at home.
That's what we're saying about that.
I'm not sure there's a culture that says
women should not work. No.
If you look at even all our people from this thing, women are working. They from time immemorial, they hold important positions in the society. They are merchants. They have money. So no culture says do not work. It's just that maybe the culture says, okay, try and prioritize so that your children do not suffer. But no culture says do not work. So maybe it's the men trying to, patriarchal nature of trying to sideline the women or repress the women. No, I've not seen any culture that says do not work.
So, well, some women are wedded, and maybe some men are scared of maybe when their wife is going higher, having some kind of, being in some kind of position, they are being threatened and all that. Do you think they have any right to stop their wife from getting to any position they want to get to?
They don't have that right. They do not have. That is what
she just said.
Just said that no culture say, or no culture bars any woman from going about any economic activities.
But when she abandons her family, like her children, like who takes care of the children? Because with more responsibility outside there, you don't have time for your home. Maybe the man now starts fighting. No, you have to stay at home to take care of your children.
It has to be an agreement between both of them. That's not normal.
That's one.
It has to be an agreement. Okay, fine, yes. And then again, many of us know how to balance.
The woman will balance.
You see, God has really blessed women. He has given us that
multitask.
Yes, thank you for that word. That we can multitask. Your wife, your
mother,
you are a CEO,
a sister.
You are a sister, you are a child, yes. And yet you can balance. Most of the tasks that women do, really, when they are given to their men counterpart, I'm sure they will fail.
Woefully.
Let me give you an example. For instance, you hardly see a woman who retires from after maybe at 60 or 65 sitting down and crossing legs. No. She either has a shop there at this Kaje market or new market or wherever.
In her home.
Has something doing. But men will sit down reading newspapers because they are retired.
I think it affects their health too. By the time you start sitting down without doing anything,
so women, God has just blessed them with that inner core strength to be able to multitask. It's just that they need to be able to know when to balance it, how to balance it,
so that home will not suffer.
Home will not suffer.
So now, who are the right people to protect this woman's right, human rights?
Human rights.
People who know we have the lawyers, the police, and which other body?
All of them. Body. Once a justice is a tripartite thing. Justice for you and I, justice for the states,
to the society, yes,
to the society, and to our opponents. There are three people involved in any judicial activity or in any litigation. Let's say litigation, even if it's criminal matters. We have the justice for the defendant or accused person, justice for the states, and justice for even the victim of that offense.
Okay.
Yes, the court. The court is that is the last hope. The last hope of the common man and woman. That is where they will say they seek justice. So the police are also involved in this, because even if your right is being infringed upon, you can, even if it's the criminal aspect, you can report to. That's the first place of call, the first point of call. Where the police will now conduct a preliminary investigation as the PI that they do, and if it needs to be forwarded to the courts, they forward it to the courts, and if it can be settled out of court, then yes. Okay. So the lawyers are there to also defend. Even a person who has been alleged to have committed a capital offense still has right to be defended. Okay. If that person does not have a lawyer in court, the court will assign a lawyer.
Assign a lawyer to that person.
Will assign the courts, the states will assign lawyers to that person.
Why is it that way? Because sometimes I get angry when I see some lawyers defending someone that has committed a crime.
Yes,
because it's their rights.
Let's say something. You know, she said this issue of justice. Sometimes the thing you have seen is not always as it is. Some of these things you say yes, it started somewhere. So many things are involved, and then the law has said that before I can say somebody has committed this offense, these are some of the things that must have happened. And then we have seen we just saw the person. For instance, something we call circumstantial evidence. We saw a dead person. We saw somebody there trying to pick the person up. You don't know whether that one was trying to help. You don't know what the person was doing, and we have assumed that yes, he's the one that killed him. So that's why that person deserves a lawyer, because he might not be able to defend himself. He doesn't know the intricacies of the law, but the lawyer will not be able to decipher whether he actually did it or not, and then the other person will need to prove its case. So that's why the law says that every accused person is entitled to a lawyer, especially if it's the law is that a person is innocent until proven guilty. Then she also mentioned the issue of justice again to the victim. Before, our laws are said that when you go to court, when it's a criminal matter, you have gone to the police station, they have arrested the person, they have jailed the person. You are the owner of the property, you still get nothing back.
But now
this Violence Against Persons Act says that compensation will be paid to the victim. So it's not just about
even the Administration of Criminal Justice
Act too. So it's not about punishing the offender now, but also compensating the victim. So that means that our law is moving. It's evolving. It's no longer about just punishment, but it's also about restoring the person who has suffered some injustice to the position, maybe not to the position I was, but at least we'll be able to gain something from that.
Okay, I think we don't have much time again. But before we go, what do you have to tell women outside there about FIDA, and even with their children? Some women are just left. Some women too even leave their children without taking care of them.
Yes, women, we really have a lot to do, especially in respect of our children. We need to take care of our children. And when we are facing any challenges, there are so many organizations that are out there. They can call us. And once they call us, we'll liaise them with the necessary bodies that can take care of that. And we've done that severally. There are so many cases that we are handling presently. FIDA Ode, that we're handling presently. Shagamu, Songo, so many places that we do go there. And then aside from that, we also go to secondary schools to sensitize them, educate them on their rights. Aside from the girls, also the boys, because sometimes when we're talking about girls,
boys who are being maltreated.
Aside from being maltreated, we also need to train them to change their psyche, because
they see their father beating their mother and they think it's a normal thing.
So it's these boys that are going to grow to men. And the girls that we are grooming, the girls are going to marry those men that we have refused to groom. So we need to start now to groom both the girls and the boys, so that we'll be grooming queens for the kings. So if we say no, they're girls, there's going to be problem.
Okay, Ma, what do you have to tell the audience before we wrap it up?
Women should. What I have to say to the women out there is that they should voice out. They should be bold to speak up. Call the numbers on any of the numbers on the screen. We will come to their aid. They shouldn't be afraid. They should speak up.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, because it's had a wonderful time having you. And thank you, Via Sotun, for being there. You've heard it all. Especially as a woman, if you are going through any challenge that you think someone is infringing into your right, speak up. You call the numbers on the screen and tell somebody, so that you will not be a victim or somebody that will start regretting, or people start regretting, she would have spoken up or would have taken an action. That will not be our case. Thank you very much for being there. To come your way again on this program next week. Bye-bye.